Hi, it's Rob Sullivan. Today we're going to talk about how to counteract resistance when it shows up in projects, when it shows up even in our healing journey. And I'm going to give you 3 things I want you to think about. 4 years ago this month, I was diagnosed with lymphoma. I went through several months of chemo, lots of inpatient treatments. Spoiler alert, I survived. Everything's great. But I learned a couple of very important lessons, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. First, resistance, you're going to feel it. So the first thing that you need to do is actually just recognize it and acknowledge it. Now, the acknowledgement of it is not a fighting of it necessarily. In fact, I would urge you not to do that. And that was part of the big lesson. You've got to walk with it. First recognize it, and then second, walk with it. And what I mean by walk with it is take the tumors. So many people use the terminology, they talk about battling cancer. Okay, from the beginning, I knew that didn't feel right to me because I thought, I'm not battling anything. I'm not going up against nature. Have you looked at nature lately? Tidal waves, hurricanes, blizzards, storm surge, avalanches. I'm not going up against any of that. I have zero interest in fighting. My attitude was, there's a lesson to be learned. That's why it's here. Let's walk with it. Let's absorb the lesson. Let's learn from it, and let's move on. And truthfully, that's a big reason why I was able to move through with such, grace and ease, relatively speaking. Now, admittedly, it was no picnic, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it was. But I will tell you, even the doctors were a bit surprised that given the intense chemo treatment I was on, that I made it through with no blood transfusions after 6 treatments. There are patients that they have who needed blood transfusions after a single treatment. A lot of that was the fact that I was never fighting anything. The third thing I want you to think about, so we've covered, the first 2. You got to recognize it, and that's going to usually show up in the form of feeling. Second, you got to walk with it. The third thing may surprise you a bit, and that is, when it comes to resistance, one of the causes of that, and what we feel that we're fighting against, if we feel like we're fighting, is usually somebody else. It's been said that most of the unhappiness on this planet is caused by people, or specifically other people, right? Well, here's what I want you to think about. The angels among us, the angels in your life, are not going to wear halos. They're going to wear horns, because they came to share with you a lesson. You are going to get an opportunity to experience, how you want to see yourself, whether it's as compassionate and forgiving, or how you deal with difficult interpersonal challenges. Therein lies the gift, and it's not just going to come from some wing-bearing angel saying, "Oh, here I bestow on you, compassion, and you can experience yourself that way." It isn't like that at all. We get to experience ourselves, and we get to learn from things by dealing with the people who annoy us and push our buttons. That's where that third piece of, if you're going to counteract some of that resistance that shows up, recognize that, embrace those angels. They're wearing horns for a reason. Have a great day. We'll talk more about this. It's a topic I'm particularly passionate about. Thanks for tuning in. Feel free to share. Take care.